Look what I have. Look what I have. Is this awesome? This is amazing. I'm going to talk about this in 2 seconds, okay? I just need to hook up the other screen, but this is amazing. All right, hang on here. Where am I going here? It's good morning. Click. And what happens is I have to refresh the other screen so that it is also in sync with me. And here we are. Look what I have. See, you can hear her. There we go. All right. So, hello everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. My hair is, Kel Surprise. You know, it's a good thing that I went into an industry where rejection is kind of what you have 3 times a day because it toughens the spirit. So this is, it's a company called Coloring Heaven. Now, I don't do coloring books, but when I was getting ready to do the live shows this year, and it occurred to me that, oh my goodness, it's the 40th anniversary of the Care Bears, and it's the 40th anniversary of Mom, and you can't live on television. I had finally, good morning, Garen. How are you? I had realized, Garen's here. I had realized when I was looking at the calendar, and 40 years had gone by since the beginning of pretty much everything big, that I needed to come up with the kind of souvenir that people who loved Care Bears, and maybe we're not the right age for You Can't Live on Television, would feel connected to me in some pivotal way. And I had this aha, hence this. So here was the aha. This is, who else is here? Well, good morning, Steve. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? So this is a company called Coloring Heaven, and they're in England. And this coloring book, if you can see it, the thing that's amazing about it is that it's not the new kind of, sugar candy bears. These are the original Care Bears. And see what I mean? Check this out. See, it's gorgeous. And the work, oh, look at this, positive vibes. Look at this. I mean, how positive vibes. Is that gorgeous? And then it's not simply the fact that all my bears are in it on the cover and on several pages. It's not just that. But when you get halfway through the book, and so it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, the workmanship, the creativity, the concept that has gone into this, you know, they're beautiful. What happens is, all of a sudden, the pages are different. And I thought, what happened? It looks like it was a bad print run. And then I realized, oh no, you know what it is? It's for watercolor. There's a whole section at the back that's watercolor. So it's softer. It doesn't overpower. Good morning, Lyle. It doesn't overpower what you're doing with your paintbrush. So I snapped those up in a heartbeat. And they arrived, and they were easily as beautiful in real life. They may look a little blurry on the screen, and that's a real shame. But if you were to Google them, Coloring Heaven, they're just extraordinary. So I wasn't the only one who thought so, because I went to the Cornwall event in April, the 2-day Cornwall event in April, and then we did Fanaticon Brockville, and I sold them all. I sold every one of them. I also have these calendars. I'll show you the calendars next time. Calendars, not by Coloring Heaven, but calendars equally beautiful in the execution. The artwork, the care that has gone into them is second to none. They're really lovely. And the way the calendars are made, it's a wall calendar, but you can remove each page and hang them separately. Like you could frame them and hang them. They're that pretty. They're that sweet. So I thought, oh my goodness, what a great idea. Because if you loved what that series meant and how we stated it, then you would probably love the idea that you could, color and spend some time and just relax and be yourself quietly, have a sip a cup of tea and whatever, have a shot of rye, I don't know, and do something that was your own personal quiet time. And I thought that's, given the way people are stressed these days, that's probably a very bright idea. And as I said, they sold. And they're not inexpensive. They cost me a lot of money to buy, and they were shipped from England. So it took a long time to come. I had to pay the shipping, and I had to pay the price. So they're not sold for $5.99. They've got a price tag to them, but it's not horrific. It's not unreasonable. And the reason I know that is that there were people who really had not come invested in the idea of buying anything from me, except possibly autographs or selfies, or would I record a cartoon voice or a character voice into their phone. They were certainly invested in that. It hadn't occurred to them that I would have necessarily a range of products to sell. So at first it was kind of oh, well, I'll think about it. But then they went away and came back and said, yes, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that and that and that. And I thought, okay, this is something I needed to think about. Not at the event, because, by the way, a little busy, but I had to really think about it because something shifted, and I wasn't clear what it was. So I talk a lot about the three different brains we have. We have the cave brain at the back, which basically keeps us alive. It's very primitive. It triggers the fight or flight mechanism. It doesn't work on. I wonder why that happened. It's mostly screaming, screaming and running in circles. And the actor brain, the one who's following orders, isn't wondering why. It's just saying, so when do I go? When am I on? I don't want to know when I'm working. I want to know when I'm off. It is the strategic brain that is trying to figure that out. The strategic brain, that I also call the stage manager brain, is a little busy at a live event. It's a little busy watching things happen, noticing when something's about to fall off the edge of something and catching it just in time so I look like, a miracle worker. So it took me a while. And what I came up with was part of what I wanted to talk about today. Because a lot has happened in the last couple of days, and I wanted to unpack it with you because we're kind of on this journey together, right? So when I'm at Fanaticon Ottawa in August this year, August 14th, Sunday, I've been able to find more, but I've bought maybe all there are. I had to really hunt because I was out of them, and I thought, well, I can't not have any. And I had to find 4 different places to get enough to bring for August. So when they're gone, I don't know if they're going to make any more. So that's just a heads up. And they're lovely, and not only are they lovely for us, but they're a wonderful, wonderful gift if you know somebody who's just besotted with the Care Bears. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that I sometimes find myself watching a news thread without really understanding why. I'm just kind of hooked on it briefly because I don't watch a lot of television. I've seen me on television, and it's a little I don't watch a lot of television, mostly because I'm spending a lot of time writing and creating and thinking. When I do watch, I'm watching to see what people are doing now and what people are leaning into, then I try and figure out why it's serving them, why it's feeding them, what it is that is making them prioritize that, make time for that. So I found myself watching a courtroom trial that ran for several weeks. And I hadn't been following the events prior to it, and I hadn't really started watching it in the beginning. For some reason, though, I found myself watching it, and it was the defamation case between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife. And Hollywood and fame do something rather strange to people. I'm just going to check here while I'm talking to you. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anybody who has chimed in. It's so wonderful to see you all. Fame does a crazy thing. And here's what it does. It focuses us, hyper-focuses us on one thing. And it doesn't allow us to see a lot of the small details. It only focuses on one thing. It you know, the camera, the trick of the eye, the lights, the glamour, the people who are hired to spin the story. It's all calculated to get people excited and to get people invested in the outcome and to get people identifying with a product or a service. When it's Hollywood, when it's show business, the product or service is usually an actor or a story about a character. And the more we buy into it, the more we identify it, the more likely we are to invest money in it. Whether we buy a ticket or we invest with our time or it becomes part of our cultural conversation, we identify with certain things. We say, I belong to that tribe, I belong to this tribe. And because I have been caught up in it in certain ways, at certain levels, at certain times, and kind of an ebb and a flow, I'm curious to see how other people react when it happens to them. I mean, I wrote a whole book on it, and I don't have it right beside me. Normally I hold it up and say, Fame. By the way, did you know it's available on Amazon? The question that I asked my kids and my colleagues when I wrote Fame was, what does fame mean to you? And I asked people because they were in the business. They were famous. They were, you know, the little invisible fame fairy, you know, hit them upside the head with a wand. It wasn't a bing so much as it was a thwop. And I wanted them to tell me how they felt about it. I've never been able to ask random people what they think fame is. And so that may be part of this journey that we're on with Pivotry, is asking people how they feel about their celebrities, about their obsessions with certain shows and certain genres and certain platforms. You know, people like to read, or they prefer to watch cartoons, or they love the video games, or fantasy, or romance, or whatever. The question is why? What is it that floats your boat? And usually people don't know. They haven't given it a lot of thought. So it's a very interesting conversation, because when you do start talking about it, it turns out that it's incredibly personal. Everything is highly subjective. Why I feel what I feel is all mine. And if I meet somebody who feels the same way, okay, then we both have the same point of view. We may not have the same excitement about the product or the service or the personality, but we feel it in the same way. So, okay, you know, connection, safety, and numbers. And these are all important things. These are tribal, these attitudes and responses to things are how we connect to each other. They're how we identify who we are. And it matters, even if it's as frivolous as somebody starring in a film. I mean, we have really important things going on. Why would we want to waste our time, invest our time in something frivolous? Because it's escape. That's why. Because it gives us a chance to step back and say, okay, I know all this other stuff matters, but really, I just want, I just want a chocolate bar. I just want to put on a really cute pair of shoes. I just want to feel happy right now in this moment. I'll come back to being responsible, and I'll come back to being dedicated, but right now, I just want to smile. And how do I do that? I invest in the thing that has made me smile in the past, that has made me feel part of something in the past. That's why we do it. So when I found myself watching the outcome of the trial, I saw something, and it hit me really hard, really hard. I saw the outcome of believing something that isn't real. I saw it. I saw the echo of that day that a small child realizes that Santa isn't really Santa, the way they thought that it's something else. I saw echoes of that first time somebody you trust does something that scared you. And now you trust them differently. You trust them to scare you. You don't trust them anymore to make you feel safe. It's a terrible moment. It's a wait. What? Why? And we've all of us have been there. 1,000,000 times, a billion times. Some of us have been there once a day. We have put our belief in something, and it turns out we were incorrect. And that's terrifying. We can be angry at the thing, but it's really reflected anger. Who we're really angry at is us, because we believed in something that wasn't worthy. And those are terrifying moments because they shatter our sense of wonder and magic and delight. So when I had that moment watching, I forget exactly what it was that happened, but I saw the connection. I saw it. I walked away. I turned off my computer. I walked away and I sat down and I thought, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So I wanted to share that today, and I wanted to use that example, that event, because it's the biggest and it's the most recent, and it is the most tellingly accurate. Because if you haven't watched it, if you didn't care, it doesn't matter, because I will explain why I think it's a real aha moment. I'll hold up the light bulb in a minute. Okay. Once upon a time, a long time ago, I saw an amazing comment, a quote. It became a meme. And it was a picture of Jack Sparrow, the Pirates of the Caribbean character played by Johnny Depp, very early on in the franchise. And it takes the sheen off the Hollywood glitz and glamour when they're exposed. Yes, except that they're not exposed, Steve. They've always been there. We've chosen not to see them. That's the point. We've chosen it. We wanted it to be magic. We didn't want it to be real, because we're real. We wanted something mythic and magic and legendary. That's the thing. It's us. So here's what the meme was. Johnny Depp face as Jack Sparrow. And the statement is this: the problem isn't the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. I'll say it again. The problem isn't the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. It's how we choose to see what we see. It's how we choose to work with that. How we choose to own, disown, lean in, step away. It's our moment. We own it. If we're disappointed, then we have to figure out why, because it's our disappointment. So, partway through one of the clips I was watching, it was an interview that Johnny Depp had with somebody fairly sizable. It might have been Larry King. It might have been, might even have been James Lipton in the Actors Studio. Johnny was asked if he likes to watch the rushes every day, the clips, the footage that they've shot every day. He said, oh no. Do you stick around? Do you watch all your movies? No, not usually. Why? Why? Oh, I know why. It's difficult. It's because what we put in, we hope, is captured. And if it's not, it's too late. We can't change it. I mean, that's mine. So I kind of sneak up on the videos, even these that I'm shooting now. When I record, and then I get a coffee and I sit and I say, okay, alrighty then, and I watch. And at the end of it, because I can't change it, it's live. People who saw it, so I have to accept it. And I watch it, and at the end of it I think, you know what? I'm okay. So what Johnny said in this interview was, when I'm asked to do the job, when I'm invited to do the job, when I'm given the opportunity to do the job, I bring what I can to the job. And at the end, when they say, okay, you're wrapped, you're free to go, my work is done. I've done everything I can. What anyone else does with it after that is out of my hands. It's none of my business. What I created, I created. Next, it's time to move on. And I thought, there's a great deal of truth in that, and there's a great deal of really smart, not lingering on and agonizing over the road not taken. Did you take the road? No. Well then, you know. So good for you, I thought. Good for you. I don't know. I know I didn't watch a lot of my stuff early on. There was a reason for it. And I had to get over that reason. I had to come to terms with that reason in order to be ready to watch it. I was simply not in step with what I was doing. And I'm kind of sorry. I'm kind of sorry for that, except I learned a lot. So here's what happened. Here's what happened. Because he said it. He said it. And I didn't hear him say it until yesterday, when I was reviewing an old clip. And I thought, there. This is my topic today. He said, I fell in love and I gave everything to it. The problem is, what I fell in love with wasn't real. I fell in love with what I wanted it to be. And I thought, we have all done that. We have all done that. We have all been there. We have all wanted something so badly, we've closed our eyes to the reality. And we've pushed and we've shoved and we've nudged and we've held our breaths until we turned blue. And the harder we wished, the further out of our grasp it moved. Because we invented a dream. And we wanted the dream to be true. And the dream didn't want to. And this is so, so important for all of us who dream, for all of us who want to know what's on the other side of the horizon. We can't make things happen unless those things want to happen. We can't. All we can do is build the bridge. All we can do is be the bridge. We can't force people Garen says you can't change the past. You can only learn from it. Very true. You can't force the past to be anything but what it is. You can't force the present to be anything but what it is. You can't force the future. We can only work with us. We can only be our best version of ourselves or our worst version of ourselves. We can have an off day. We can come back the next day and say, ooh, I have no idea what that was. But let's not do that again. We can only fix us. And at one point, a few years ago, I was ranting and raving and railing and kvetching and moaning about the fact that I couldn't seem to inspire people to get in the boat with me and be there with me and step up to the plate with me. And a very, very good friend of mine who has very strong Viking ancestors, his name is Lars. And Lars said to me, you know that the Vikings had to qualify to get a seat on the boat, right? And I said, yeah, sure I did. Sure I did. Sure, I knew it, but I didn't know it. I figured that if I could wind them up sufficiently, they wouldn't be able to resist. And you know, I'm fairly good at that. I'm fairly good at winding people up. I'm fairly good because, excitement is contagious. What it isn't is permanent. A friend of mine a long time ago said, motivational stuff, motivational stuff, motivation is bunk. And I said, well, it isn't. And he said, yes, it is. Because you can only motivate yourself. You can only transform you. You can't transform other people. Other people have to want to transform. And then they come to you because you know where the tools are. You can teach them. I said, yeah, that is, yeah, okay. So I had believed that the only reason people weren't rushing to claim that last empty seat on the boat is because they were having a bad day. And as my friend Barb said, they're not having a bad day. They can't be bothered. They'd rather get a ticket for a cruise and let everybody else do the work. And I couldn't understand why. I don't want to go on a cruise. I don't want to be a spectator. I don't want to pay a lot of money for the sole purpose of sitting on something and being fed 47 times a day. I want to go in the kitchen and figure out how they do that. I want to see. I want to be part of the doing, because that's how I'm wired. The people who want to go and be pampered, that's them. They're going to pay the money. They're going to go. They're going to all get off the boat, multiple animal, go and get on another boat and go on a cruise around the little island, then get back on the boat and come back out to sea. That's what they want to do, because that's. Well, I wasn't paying attention to them. I was paying attention to me. And I was saying to myself, well, they have to love it. I'm adorable. How could they not love it? How could you not look at what I'm doing and see the fun I'm having and not want to be part of it? And the answer is because they're not into fun. They're not connected. They're not engaged. Well, but they have to want to be. No, they don't. No, they don't. And there's the hard reality. I think the hard reality is we think that if we love it, and you do too, it's proof that you love us. You like my bear? You like my dragon? Like my unicorn? No. Why not? Because I don't like bears and dragons and unicorns? What? But it's mine. You have to like it. It's mine. No, I like you. I don't have to like your stuff. Yes, you do. Why? Because I help here. So our expectations of us are sometimes realistic, sometimes unrealistic. Our expectations of that diet plan. So I bought this diet book, and it's not working, so I guess probably what I'm going to have to do is open the book and read it. And if that doesn't work, I might have to actually, follow the instructions. I spent good money on that book. Don't know why I can't just apply it to my head and change my thinking. But no, apparently I have to do the work. When we are searching for an answer, when we are looking forward to something magical, and we find it, and it is just the best, it's just yummy with sprinkles on top. Of course we want to share that. Of course we want to say to somebody we care about, you need to try this. Oh, to them. Our yummy moment of recognition, of discovery, of taste sensation, we want them to have that happy, wonderful experience because we care about them. When they don't, it's rejection. We haven't been able to gift them some happiness, some excitement, some magic. We wanted to, and it didn't work. And we feel like a failure because it meant so much to us. And what we have to learn, what we have to try to accept, to deal with, is the understanding that they can still love us and not share the same excitement and love that we have for they can love us their way. If they can't be there the way we crave, it doesn't mean they don't care. It means that if we want them in our lives, if we want to accept that they do care about us, that they do love us, we have to accept who they are, as they are. We have to give ourselves permission to let go of our stranglehold on controlling the outcome. We can't control their outcome. We can only control ours. That's huge. The first Care Bear movie we did in 1982 was called The Land Without Feelings. And it was a little boy named his childhood and his family. I think he was supposed to be about 10 years old, 8 or 10 years old, and something had happened, and he was very hurt, and he was very disappointed, and he was very scared, and he was very angry because something didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. And so he decided that he wasn't ever going to care about anything again. And so he walked around saying, I don't care. And the evil character in the cartoon had a machine, and he could turn little boys and girls, anybody, anyone, into these listless, pale versions of globby blobs who didn't care forever. And the Care Bears, who lived in Care-a-Lot, their mission was to rescue people from that horrible, horrible fate. And they would swoop in their magic vehicles and use their Care Bear stare to break that horrible, horrible spell, to nudge them awake, to bring them back to a place where they of those bears. I was a friend. I was love. And I was a dreamer, a wishful thinker. Clearly we know the one that triggers. And those 3 bears, together with the other 7, worked together to help Kevin come back. Isn't it funny? I'm teary because I'm remembering exactly how I felt. I was crying when we did the movie. I was crying when I was voicing Wish Bear. Does that make it a great movie? Oh, are you kidding me? It makes it an awesome movie. It makes it a trigger to launch people, to help them go, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing all these years. How did I not see it? And the answer is, we weren't looking that way. That's all. We weren't looking that way. The answers are always there. We just have to be willing to look that way. So, here's what happened when I was watching that clip yesterday. I understood two things. I understood that people who believe and follow their dreams and follow their passions and love fearlessly are often so invested in that journey, so invested in the doing, and so invested in the being, and so invested in the joy of the outcome, because it rewards them so greatly. They don't remember to protect themselves against disappointment, against the loss of things that we thought would always be there. We're so focused on this, we forget validating, because I think we're all on that journey. I think we're all so invested in what we want and what we believe we need and what we're willing to do that we forget to look after the rest of us. And when we forget to do that, we can be blindsided. We can be hurt. We can feel unloved. And if it goes back to the cave, unloved means that the alpha in the tribe can kick you out of the cave. And that's a scary thing. So here's what I know. And the picture I posted today that is going to be on the video was a moment that made me laugh and just feel amazing. And it happened at Lance Moran's Fanaticon 2 last be able to do the event and stay safe. We all were being very careful about social distancing. We were all wearing masks. We were all doing all the right things. And I invest a lot of time and belief and energy in creating an experience when I'm out there live in the world that it's fun. It can be fun. It can be exciting. It can be crazy. It can be a train wreck. And fun if you're in my boat. I build that expectation because I want it for me. And if I can have it for me, then it's available to you. That's why I do it. I do it for me, and I leave it open for you. What has taken me a long time to understand is that just because I want it doesn't mean that you will. Just because I know how great it feels doesn't mean it will feel great to you. And I've had to really work hard to understand that and to give people permission with no caveats that if they're not into it, that's all there is. They're not into it. And it's not proof that I failed. It's not proof that I didn't do my job. The two aren't connected. So the picture that I posted was one of my wonderful, wonderful event buddies seeing me from a distance pointing and running at me, ran at me, arms open, yelling, "Here I come." And I wasn't really quite ready for that. And he scooped me up and gave me this crazy, silly, magnificent hug. And you can tell when you look at the picture, there were two photographers, because I'm looking at one and he's looking at the other. Was that a safe distance? Technically, no. Were we both masked? Yes. Were we not breathing on each other? We were not breathing on each other. Was it magical? Are you kidding me? It is the epitome of, want to get in this boat? This is how much fun it is. And it set the tone for the entire day, because he was right there, almost at the very beginning. And it changed everything. I got up early, had to drive all the way in, had to set up the booth. It's fine and it's wonderful, but it's exhausting. And then you have to take a breath. And you say, okay, it's showtime. You know, they're coming in a few minutes. Take a breath. And then what you really need is a shot in the arm, a boost of fun. And there he was. He chose. He chose. I made the offer. Here I am. He remembered the last visit and said, I'm going to do that again. And he did. He chose. So the number of times I have said, oh my God, this is going to be amazing and they're going to have a great time, and I have been shocked and disappointed and alarmed and in disbelief, are about even with the number of people who've said yes. There was one person at an event when I said, okay, so here's what we need to do. And this person said, I'm not doing that. And I said, well, we're all doing it. We're all doing it. So, and this person said, I don't care. I'm not doing it. And one of my team said, took this person aside. And the reason I know what happened was I got told what happened by both of them. Took the person aside and said, look, you're here as Abby's guest. You got free passes. You are seen at Abby's booth. You appear to be on Abby's team. All you need to do is step up and do the job she asks. And the person said, I don't want to, and you can't make me. And when this person came back and said, so your buddy tried to guilt me into doing this, I didn't sign on for it. I'm here. I said I'd be here, and I'm here. And I smiled, and I said, yes, you are, and you're free to go. Thank you. Or stay. But don't take up working space, because we're working here. They weren't in on it. They weren't into it. They weren't ready for it. It did not float their boat. And the harder we pushed, the more angry and defensive and attack-worthy they became. If I had just said, oh, okay, no problem, run along, you're good, see ya, probably they'd have gone. We tried to persuade, and it was not well received. So this is the other part of this equation. When we want happiness for someone, but the happiness is on our terms, if we keep insisting, all we're going to do is make them angry and make them lash out and make us stop. And that never occurs to us, that what we're doing is provoking a response we don't want. Well, but you'll love it. I don't want to love it. Leave me alone. So best intentions. And we see a lot of this in a lot of places, in a lot of ways. Why don't you come out? I'm not ready. The right answer would be, okay, well, you know where I am. When you're ready, you know where I am. Yes, I know where you are. For God's sake. They're not ready. And they may never be ready. And the thing is, that has to be okay. It has to be okay. Because the only people who are going to do what needs to be done in the boat are people who are excited and curious and ready. As Chad Hill says, they have the will and the want. And no one can make that happen for us but us. Right? So this brings me to Pivotry. And it brings me to Story Me TV. And it brings me to my dream. My dream is an opportunity to create and collaborate and share who we are with each other, the way we've always done from the very beginning, by telling stories and remembering the stories and sharing the stories and breathing life into our legends. My dream is to find a way to do that now with people who don't want things the way they used to want them, don't have the energy to demand things, don't have the time or the money or the peace of mind to wait and believe. My dream is to find something that makes people say, oh, well, that looks cool. My dream is to find something, create something, develop a platform concept that makes it easier to say, I'm in, than I'm out. It won't work for everyone. And it's not going to be something that everyone will buy into right away, because it's still in development. It's still mostly inside my head. So what I'm doing with these videos, what I'm doing with Pivotry in Motion, what I'm doing with all these ideas that I have, all these projects that I have, is I'm putting out a buffet spread. And I'm saying, I'm working on this, and this is a possibility, and I think that could be fun. And what do you think about this? And then I'm saying, if that interests you, I'm going to get on videos and talk to you about why, where I came from, how I got here, where I think I'm going. And I'm going to use funny stories to tell you that will make you laugh, that will trigger your funny bone, so you can temporarily forget the things that aren't working and just enjoy the moment. And give you an opportunity to say, you know, these videos that Abby's doing are growing on me. I can't watch all of them because, you know, it's the middle of the morning, but that's okay. I can grab them later. I'm doing the best I can with what I have to show you that there's a door. And I'm leaving the door open so that when your curiosity gets the best of you, you can kind of peek inside and see what's on the other side. And maybe get curious enough to actually poke your head through and say, tell me more. Interesting thing has happened. When I remembered to ask you deliberately, standing on your lapels and holding onto your tie, to tell people that this is going on, to tell people that I'm creating something that I think is magical. Tell people you're watching these videos. Tell people I've created a YouTube channel, because it's through the YouTube channel that all of the next steps are going to evolve. I'll continue to do some things on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and whatever. YouTube is going to be the portal. And so I'm gradually, hopefully, building an interest in checking that out. There are more things on my YouTube channel than these videos. There are other things I've created. There are other platforms and tools and messages and stories and characters. So there are other things to check out. The reason I need your help is because that's how it works today. We all get together as friends and fans and followers and tell our friends. We ring the bell, we like it, we subscribe, we comment, and we nudge other people into doing the same. So when I mentioned this on Tuesday and last week, cool thing happened. I got more subscribers. I got more subscribers and more comments. Just like that. Because I remembered to ask. This is also new to me. I mean, it's clearly new to me when I can't figure out how to start each video. And by the way, this is video 54. Oh my God. Studio 54. We have clearly passed Area 51. We're now in the dark, treacherous waters of Remember the Days of Disco. I am doing this. I am glad I came. I wake up every day and I say, alrighty then, it's another bonus day. Thank you. And I take it on. I'm doing that for my reasons. And if you've followed me, you know why some of them are. You know that I was raised by Blanche Dubois and Captain America. You know that in their alternate lives, they were Cheshire cats. Their grins would remain, but the rest of them would disappear off into wherever they went and leave me standing there saying, what do I do now? And I survived it. I grew up moving with no idea where I was going, what it would be like when I got there. I almost died in a car accident. And when I woke up, the first thing I thought was, safe. I'm grateful every day that I'm still here. So that's me. And I'm not asking any of you to be me. I'm not asking you to be me. I'm not asking you to seize each and every day with the same mad enthusiasm that I do. I'm not asking for that. I am saying the boat is at the dock. There is a seat for you. You will be expected to row. You will also be part of the crew. And we will go on a journey that we will never forget, if you want to. If you want to. If you don't, cheer us off from the dock. Throw flowers. Yell, good luck and bon voyage. Don't stand on the dock and yell suckers. Do that on your time. Because the people already in the boat are excited and can't wait to see what's around the corner at the end of the fjord. We're on our way. Every show, every video, every post on social media, every phone call, every client call, every single thing I do, I bring my A game. I bring my Abby game. It's up to you what you do with it. I can't control it. I can build the bridge. I can be the bridge. I can show you pictures of other people who have climbed aboard and crossed the divide with me. I cannot and will not try to make you want it the way I do. It took me a long time to learn that. It took me a long and unhappy time to realize that. It may even, the final aha, the final bright moment, may even have happened yesterday when I was watching a clip and I said, look at that. Look at that. I got sued once by someone vindictive. There was no reason for it, except that it made them feel good to embarrass me. That'll teach her, they said, in public. I heard it. And I thought, why would you do that to me? You don't even know me. Why would you do that? And the answer was, because I can. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Who stopped patrolling my boundaries? That it worked. And the little voice inside my head said, that would be us. We stopped. It was necessary. We forgot that life is complicated. And it was a pretty sharp, rude, and expensive wake-up call. Am I grateful for the lesson? Yeah. Yeah, I'd have liked a less expensive, painful, hurtful lesson. But I'm stubborn, and maybe I needed one that harsh to pay attention. So here's I think the outcome of the conversation today. I refuse to allow anyone to dim the wattage on my joy. It's my damn joy, and you can't have it. Get your own joy. You can't have your joy at my expense. I won't allow it. Worth it. And you know what? So are you. This is a difficult time right now. It's a transition time. People don't realize that we're going to have a little bit of ebb and flowing going on here. The weather is iffy. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's a bit unpredictable. Our finances are iffy, sometimes good, sometimes unpredictable. Everything that happened to us for the last couple of years is still, it's like an earthquake. There are still aftershocks, there are still tremors, and we are trying to get our feet back. We are trying to find our balance and find our way in this new and different version of us. It's scary. It's hard work. It's easy to be like Kevin in the Care Bears land without feelings. It's easy to be hurt and say, I don't care. Ratso Rizzo and say, I'm walking here. Once we do that, though, it's fabulous, endlessly fabulous to be in the frame of mind to be able to say, how you doing? And that's where I choose to be. I'm walking here, and I'm inviting you to walk with me, your way, at your pace, on your terms, in those shoes. I have my own shoes. Probably not the same. Doesn't matter. We all need shoes, or not. Walk with me. Give yourself permission to be excited by possibility. Give yourself permission to be curious. Give yourself permission to stop hoping or pushing or controlling or trying to outcomes that aren't ours to own. Give yourself permission to say, can I have an aisle seat? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So, we're at the end today. Oh my gosh, I went long. Can you imagine? And we're emerging from things. And so sometimes my videos are up and down, and sometimes they're a little more down than up, and sometimes they're very silly up, as it should be. The ocean has waves. I am so grateful that you invest the time. I am so grateful that you say, I have no idea what she's up to. Sometimes I'm not sure if she knows what she's up to. But I'm investing in this. It's worth it to me to find out what she's going to say. I'm grateful when you do that. I'm grateful when you send me private messages and say, I can't make it today, I have to work. I can't make it today, I have this. I'm going to watch you later. I'm going to go grab you on YouTube. I've told a couple of friends. I hope they'll subscribe. I love those messages. I love the idea that you're open to possibility enough that you're checking this out. I've made so many amazing new friends because of this. So was it worth it? Is it worth it? Will it be worth it? What, are you kidding me? At least she didn't sing. Thank you, Garen. The thing is, we never know until it's over whether I will. The best thing about today is that we're here. We're here. Did something go wrong? Did something break? Has there been a setback? Okay. What do we need to do? What do we need to believe in? What do we need to lead into or step away from to cope with it, to handle it? The point is, we're here, which means we have a possibility of making it right. We have a possibility of making it right and turning to each other and saying, holy crap, what was that? And then smiling, because we're in it together. And that makes everything okay. So, please, we're at 74 now. We're at 74 people on my YouTube. And I had over 100 people watching this, almost 150 watching this from Tuesday, which is so exciting. I'm so grateful. Please tell your friends. Please comment if you haven't. Please message me if there's something you want to say or suggest, and I'll take it under advisement. Please give yourselves permission to get over the goofy, dumb things you've done. Steve Endicott just said, I would never have met you otherwise. This is amazing. Exactly. Exactly. So how do we move this forward? Well, today we say, you know what? I'm having a good day. I'm going to thank me for being in that mood. I'm going to thank Abby for reminding me. I'm going to thank my loved ones and my enemies and everybody else for providing me the momentum and the nudge. And most of all, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for choosing to lean in instead of walking away. Life has never been a spectator sport. It never will be a spectator sport. And we were never meant to be spectators. We were never meant to live in the land without feelings. None of us. And that's a fact. I know. I'm 3 Care Bears. I was there at the beginning. Okay, so be good to you. You deserve it. You're worth it. Hug your loved ones. Oh my God, what they put up with from you. The weekend is upon us. People are hoping the weather will be good. In case it isn't, I'm hoping you have backup plans. And I will see you back here on Tuesday, next Tuesday, for more exciting trials and tribulations and triumphs in Abbey World. And I really hope you'll join me. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.